You are not broke. You are simply silent. That silence is a heavy shroud you have wrapped around your own potential. It is a thick, suffocating layer that muffles your voice and dulls your edge. Every day you spend in this quiet state, the shroud grows heavier, pressing down until you can barely move. You think you are waiting for the right moment, but you are only waiting for the air to run out. This silence is costing you everything. It costs you the deals you never proposed. It costs you the connections you never initiated. It costs you the life you claim to want but refuse to reach for. You carry this weight like a badge of honor, telling yourself it is patience, telling yourself it is wisdom. It is neither. It is a self-imposed prison. You sit in the dark, watching the world move forward, while you remain anchored to the spot by your own refusal to speak. You are paying for your silence with your future. The shroud is not made of external forces. It is woven from your own hesitation. It is time to stop wrapping yourself in it and start tearing it apart. Most people convince themselves that success is a labyrinthine puzzle. They spend their days mapping out imaginary corridors and debating the turns of a maze that does not exist. They build monuments to their own confusion. They stack paper. They chart endless variables. They analyze every possible outcome until they are paralyzed by the sheer volume of their own thoughts. They claim it is complicated because that is the perfect, polished excuse to do nothing. It is a shield. As long as they can argue that the path is too difficult to navigate, they never have to take a single step forward. They treat their own lack of movement as a sign of deep, intellectual deliberation. It is a lie. It is not complicated. It is simple. It is brutal in its simplicity. You are not stuck because the world is a riddle. You are stuck because you have turned the act of planning into a substitute for the act of doing. You are busy building walls of theory while the world passes you by. Stop drawing maps. Stop admiring the architecture of your own excuses. The truth that keeps you awake at night is this: you do not get what you want because you refuse to ask. You look at the world and see a locked door, but you have never reached out to turn the handle. You do not ask clearly. You do not ask boldly. You do not ask with the relentless, grinding consistency that reality demands. You treat your desires like secrets, whispering them to the ceiling instead of stating them to the people who hold the keys. You think that if you wait long enough, the world will eventually notice your talent and hand you what you deserve. It will not. The world is not a mind reader. It is a machine that responds only to pressure. You must apply that pressure through your voice. You must state your terms. You must make your intentions known with such frequency and such precision that they become impossible to ignore. You have to stop hoping for an invitation and start creating the necessity for your presence. You have to ask again and again until the wall gives way. Now, let us strip away the theory and look at your own history. When was the last time you actually stood your ground? Think back. I am not talking about a polite inquiry or a tentative suggestion. I am talking about the moment you looked someone directly in the eye, held their gaze, and demanded exactly what you deserve. Can you name the date? Can you recall the room? You cannot, because you have never done it. You have spent years trading your potential for the comfort of being ignored. You have sat across from people who held the power to change your trajectory, and you stayed silent. You watched them offer less than your value, and you accepted it with a nod. You swallowed your worth to avoid the temporary friction of a real negotiation. That is not humility. That is a transaction where you sold yourself short. Why did you look away? Was it the fear of hearing the word no? Was it the terror of being seen as too aggressive? You chose the safety of the status quo. You sit there, day after day, waiting for a signal that will never come. You have convinced yourself that there is a right moment, a green light, or a cosmic permission slip waiting to be delivered. It is a lie. You stare at your screen, scrolling through the lives of others, watching them win, watching them move, watching them claim the space you want. You see their results, and you tell yourself that they were given a head start. They were not. They simply stopped waiting for the world to call their name. While you remain anchored in your own hesitation, they are already miles ahead, carving out their own territory. You are effectively holding your breath, waiting for an invitation to exist. It is a slow, quiet death of your own ambition. You look for signs in the noise, hoping for a breakthrough that requires no effort on your part. But the world is indifferent to your patience. You are not building a foundation. You are building a cage of your own making. You are not preparing. You are stagnating. You have a favorite word. It is a poison you feed yourself every single morning. You say soon. You whisper tomorrow. You believe these words are bridges to your future, but they are actually anchors, dragging you into the dark. Soon is not a plan. It is a burial shroud. It is the graveyard where your goals go to rot. Every time you utter that word, you are digging a hole for your own potential. You look at your ambitions, and you tell them to wait. You tell them they can happen when the timing is perfect, when the stars align, when you feel ready. But that day never arrives. The goals do not stay fresh while you wait. They wither. They lose their edge. They turn into the ghosts of things you once wanted. You are not preparing for success. You are presiding over a funeral for your own dreams. The longer you keep them in that graveyard, the harder it becomes. Stop lying to yourself. There is no soon. There is only the action you take right now, or the decay you accept by doing nothing at all. You sit there, thumb twitching against glass, scrolling through the curated highlights of lives you envy. You watch them win. You watch them climb. You watch them claim the territory you claim to want. You tell yourself they must have a secret, a shortcut, or a hidden advantage that you lack. You are wrong. Look at your clock. You have the exact same 24 hours in your day as the people you watch. You have the same access to the same world, the same information, and the same opportunities. Why are the results so drastically different? You think they are smarter. You think they are luckier. You think they were born with a blueprint that you were denied. Stop looking for excuses in their biology or their background. The difference is not in the time provided. It is in how that time is spent. You are a spectator in your own life, watching the game from the sidelines while convincing yourself that you are still in the match. You keep looking for the wall that is stopping you. You search for the locked door, the hidden gate, or the invisible barrier that keeps you from the life you want. You think life is actively blocking your path. You think the universe has conspired to keep you small. You are wrong. Life is not blocking you. Life is filtering you. It is a sieve, and you are currently passing through it as dust. The universe does not care about your intentions. It does not reward your hidden potential. It ignores the vague. It provides only for the clear. When you stand in the middle of the room, silent and undefined, the world simply moves around you. It does not stop to ask what you need because you have never told it. You are invisible because you have chosen to be. You are being filtered out of the opportunities you crave because you lack the courage to announce your presence. The world is not withholding success. It is waiting for a signal that you refuse to send. Stop blaming the obstacles. Stop cursing the path. You are the one who has opted out of the race. You are the one who has decided that staying quiet is safer than being heard. But safety is just another word for obscurity. If you want to stop being filtered, you must stop being silent. You want to change your trajectory? Then stop broadcasting static. You say, I want to be rich. That is not a goal. That is noise. It is a hollow wish that dissolves the moment it leaves your lips. The universe does not respond to vague desires. It does not translate your daydreams into reality. It treats your generalities as background hum. You are filling the air with static, expecting a symphony in return. It will never happen. You must strip away the fluff. You must kill the ambiguity. A wish is a request for luck. A demand is a blueprint for action. Stop saying what you want and start stating what you will execute. Say, I will generate $10,000 in 90 days through this specific plan. That is not a wish. That is a signal. It is a target. It is a non-negotiable command issued to your own life. Clarity is not just a preference. It is the only language that reality understands. Stop wishing. Start signaling. Clarity is the blade. It is sharp, it is precise, and it is necessary. But a blade sitting on a table does nothing. It does not cut. It does not shape. It does not open doors. Clarity is only the edge. You need the hand to wield it. Most people think they need more motivation. They wait for a surge of adrenaline, a frantic burst of energy, or a desperate cry for change. They think loud, chaotic passion is the engine of success. They are wrong. You do not need the frantic, sweating motivation of a desperate person. That is just noise wrapped in a different package. What you need is quiet. You need a cold, steady, absolute certainty that does not flicker when the wind blows. It is the difference between a wildfire that burns out in an hour and a furnace that melts steel for days. When you hold your plan with this kind of calm, you stop reacting to the world. You start commanding it. You do not need to shout. You do not need to plead. You simply move with the weight of a person who knows exactly what happens next. This is the hand that wields the blade. It is unhurried. It is precise. It is relentless. Without this internal stillness, your clarity is just a thought. With it, your clarity becomes an event. Look at a child. A child does not sit in the corner and calculate the odds of rejection. A child does not analyze the social hierarchy to see if they are worthy of an answer. A child does not worry about the seating chart or the reputation of the person they are approaching. A child simply asks. They reach out because they expect a response. They operate on the assumption that the world owes them an answer, and they do not apologize for the space they occupy while waiting for it. They see what they want, they identify the person who can provide it, and they demand it with total, unblinking focus. You once possessed this. You were born with this instinct to claim what you needed without the heavy burden of social conditioning. But somewhere along the way, you traded that hunger for caution. You have forgotten how to simply ask. You have traded your hunger for a cage of your own construction. Every time you hesitate, you feed that cage. You look at an opportunity, and you weigh the cost of failure instead of the value of the win. You have replaced your natural, aggressive instinct with a polite, paralyzing doubt. You sit in the quiet, watching the clock, waiting for a signal that does not exist. This is not caution. This is atrophy. You are actively choosing to be invisible. You tell yourself that you are being careful, but you are only creating a vacuum. Silence is a void. It is a heavy, suffocating shroud that you wrap around your own potential. It produces nothing. You are not waiting for a door to open. You are standing in front of a closed door, refusing to knock, and then blaming the wood. This silence is costing you everything. It is the graveyard where your goals go to rot. You are not broke. You are simply silent. Let us strip this down to the bone. Two people, identical skills, identical ideas. They stand in the same market, facing the same obstacles. One person opens their device, types the request, and hits send. They do not wait for the perfect alignment of stars. They do not check the seating chart to see if they belong. They simply push the message into the world. The other person stands in the same space, staring at the same screen. They open the draft. They rewrite the subject line. They worry about the tone. They decide the timing is slightly off. They close the window and tell themselves they will do it when the conditions are flawless. One person is building a bridge while the other is still sketching the blueprints in their head. One is moving toward the target. The other is moving toward a justification for why they are still standing still. This is not a difference in talent. This is not a difference in resources. This is a difference in the willingness to be seen. One person accepts the risk of a rejection, The other person chooses the certainty of being ignored. 6 months pass. The timeline splits. Inside the room, the person who sent the message is no longer waiting. They are at the table, actively shaping the future. They are speaking, negotiating, and moving the needle of their own reality. Their hands are busy with the work they demanded. They are in the center of the action, surrounded by the results of their own initiative. Outside, the other person remains exactly where they were. They are still standing in the cold, facing the same wind. They have no seat. They have no influence. They are busy, but not with work. They are busy explaining. They talk to the empty air, reciting the reasons why the timing was never right. They describe the obstacles they imagined. The wind does not care. The world does not listen. They are a ghost in their own life, watching the door they refuse to knock on. The future is being written, and they are still outside, talking to the wind, waiting for a signal that will never come. Which one are you? You are the one outside. You are the one standing in the shadow of the door you refuse to open. You are the one explaining your absence to the wind. Stop looking for someone else in that description. It is you. You are the architect of your own invisibility. You spend your hours crafting the perfect justification for why you are not in the room. You rehearse the reasons. You polish the excuses until they shine like truth. You tell yourself that you are waiting for a sign. That is a lie. You are not waiting. You are hiding. You are terrified that if you finally knock, the door might open. So you stay silent. You stay small. You stay invisible. You watch your own life pass by from the outside. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the author of your own exclusion. Look at the empty space where your life should be. You are not broke. You are simply silent. And that silence is the shroud you have wrapped around your own potential. It is costing you everything. Change it. Stop explaining. Define exactly what you want. Write it down. Attach a rigid, non-negotiable plan to your desire. Then, ask. Send the message. Make the call. Take the shot. Do it again, and again, and again. One ask is a fluke. It is a single pebble thrown into a canyon. It makes a sound, but it does not move the mountain. Consistency is the weapon. You must hit the target until it breaks. You must send the email, make the follow-up call, and walk through the door you previously feared. Do not wait for a perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There is only the action you take right now. Pick up the phone. Type the message. Send the request. Do not stop until the world gives you an answer. Here is your challenge. For the next 7 days, you will kill your silence. You will not wait for the right mood. You will not wait for the perfect draft. Every single day, you will ask for something. One opportunity, one connection, one tangible step forward. No overthinking, no delay, no excuses. Just the raw, unfiltered action of asking. You will treat this like a surgical operation. You identify the target, you craft the request, and you pull the trigger. If you feel the urge to hesitate, you must act faster. If you feel the urge to polish your words, you must send them as they are. This is not a suggestion. It is a mandatory audit of your own potential. You have spent years observing the world from the sidelines. Now, you enter the arena. You have 7 days to prove that you are no longer a ghost. You have 7 days to force the world to acknowledge your existence. Start now. Identify your first target. Draft the request. Hit send. Do not look back. The clock is running. The silence ends today. Watch what happens. The first message lands. The recipient reads it. They do not see a ghost anymore. They see a person with a target, a plan, and the iron will to move forward. You will see the replies you did not expect. You will see the doors that were locked for years suddenly swing open. The people you thought were untouchable, the ones you watched from the shadows, will begin to answer. They were never hostile. They were simply waiting for someone to speak with clarity. The static is gone. Your signal is cutting through the noise. You are no longer a spectator in your own life. You are the one driving the conversation. You will feel the shift in the air. The hesitation that once paralyzed your limbs is being replaced by momentum. Look at the screen. A notification appears. A meeting is confirmed. You were the one holding the key all along. The world did not change. You did. You are not lacking opportunities. You are lacking the courage to open your mouth. It is that simple. It is that brutal. You have spent your life waiting for a signal that was never coming because you were the one who had to send it. Stop waiting. Stop analyzing the risks. Stop explaining your absence to the wind. You are standing at the edge of your own potential. The silence you have cultivated is a cage you built with your own hands. Break it. Open your mouth. Speak your demand. State your target. The universe does not provide for the vague. It provides for the clear. It provides for the bold. Your time is not a resource to be hoarded. The moment is here. The target is set. Open your mouth. Start now.